Hi guys, it's the God-given math tutor again, and I'm back with another video, and this time we'll be covering formulae or formulas. So we have a few questions here that I want us to cover together. And yeah, it's a couple of questions. We'll see how far we can get, and then maybe I'll cover the rest in a separate video. But yeah, as long as we can cover the basics at least of formulas. So big shout out to Zaza BW on Facebook and Junior Chateau, also on Facebook, who are the ones who recommended me to do this video on formulas. And yeah, but that is a very integral topic in both BGCSE and GCE. So in BGCSE, definitely there's even some paper threes which have making things the subject of formula and so forth. And then in JCE, I know there's also other questions in their paper 2 which require them to make the subject of the formula to calculate x if x is equals to whatever. So yeah, there's a really important topic that I want us to cover together. So let's look at activity 1. So it says a given u, so let me write a, given u is equals to -2, v is equals to 3, and w is equals to -5. Find the value of u squared plus v squared plus w squared. So this is how we're going to do it. So they've already told us the values of u. They're saying that u is -2, v is 3, and w is -5. So instead of putting this time u squared plus v squared plus w squared, so instead of putting u, we are going to put the value for u, which is -2, which is written there. And then instead of v, we're going to put 3. Then instead of w, we're going to put -5. So we're going to do it like this. So we said that in place of u, u is equals to -2. So we are going to put -2 in brackets instead of u, and then squared, plus, and then for v, we are going to put 3 because bari v is 3. So 3 squared plus, then w is -5. So I'm going to put -5 squared. And then yeah, we'll have this, and then all we need to do is to put it into the calculator to see how much is this. So -2 squared is going to be 4, because -2 times -2 is equals to 4, because when you multiply things with like signs, or yeah, with similar signs, because they're both negative, is going to give you positive. Negative times negative gives you positive. So -2 squared, which is -2 times -2, is going to give you 4. Then plus 3 squared, that means 3 times 3 is going to give you 9. And then the last one, -5 squared, which is -5 times -5, is going to give you positive 25. So positive 25 as so. And then I'm avoiding using the calculator now, but like you could have just put it into the calculator from the start. So 4 plus 9 is going to give us 13 plus 25, which is going to be 8, and then 38. I'm hoping that my calculations are correct. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is the value of this whole equation. So when we put the values of u, of v, and of w, we're going to get 38. So let's do another question. B says, if a is equals to -2, b is equals to 3, and c is equals to 0, find the value of ABC. Okay, so they want us to find the value of ABC. So ABC just basically means A times B times C. So instead of A, we're going to put -2, right? -2 times B, which is 3 times C, which is 0. So we're going to put 0 there. So what is negative 2 times negative 2 times 3 rather is going to be negative 6, because remember what it is, negative 2 times positive 3. So because these are different signs, it's going to give us a negative. So we're going to put negative, then 2 times 3 is 6. So it's going to be negative 6 times 0, which is going to give us 0, because any number times 0 is equals to 0. Then let's do Roman numeral 2, which says A minus B plus C. So instead of A, we're going to put the value written there, which is negative 2, and then minus B. So it's going to be minus, and then B is 3, so minus 3. Then plus C, instead of C, we're going to put 0. So what is negative 2 minus 3? That's going to be negative 5. Then here it's just going to be plus 0. And any number plus 0 is itself. So negative 5 plus 0 is negative 5. Even here, to be honest, you could have just put it into the calculator, but imagine cases of like paper ones, because both JCE and BGCSE, they're paper ones. You don't use calculators. So yeah, you can just train yourself at this point to be able to do the stuff, or you could just use the calculator anyway. Just know hella you should be capable to do these simple calculations, yeah, in your mind. So yeah, so those will be the answers for that. So we're basically substituting the values here. We're substituting the values there, negative 2, in place of the variables which are here. So now let's continue on and try with C. So it says the area A of a triangle is given by the formula half BH, which is half base times height, where H is perpendicular from the base B. Then they're like, calculate A when B is equals to 4 and H is equals to 6. So here they've given us that B is equals to 4 and H is equals to 6. So they give us the area of the triangle, which is half base times height. So that is the same as just saying half times B times H. Some people may even go as far as to just put it as BH over 2, which is still correct. So we're going to put half times B, which they said is 4, right? So instead of B, we're going to put 4. And then instead of H, we're going to put 6. So half times 4, 2 here, 1, 2 here, 2. So that's going to be, then we're going to remain with 1 times 2 times 6, which is going to give us 12. Simple enough. You can still put it into the calculator. Remember, I'm sure you'll get the same thing into the calculator. Times 4 times 6, 12. Yep. And then, oh, that was it. Anyway, I thought there was more to it. And then the last one says the formula F is equals to 9 over 5 C plus 32 shows the relationship between temperature in degrees Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius. Find F when C is equals to 40 degrees. So in this case, it will be F, C, we are given that C is equals to 40 degrees, right? So the formula given is F is equals to 9 over 5. Let me just say 9 over 5 C plus 32. So this 9 over, so we're to calculate how much is F when C is 40. So in replacement of C, we're going to put 40. So this is 9 over 5 you can just say times 40. Let me just put it in brackets. Then plus 32. So let's calculate how much 9 over 5 times 40 is. 5 here, 1. 5 there is 8. And then 8 times 9, I think, is 72, if I'm right. Yeah, it is 72. Then plus 32. So 72 plus 32, I think, is it 104, something like that? Yep, it is 104. So it's going to be 104. So F is going to be 104 if C is equals to 40. So yeah, that's as simple as it is when it comes to just substituting. So let's do a bit more complex questions this time. So this time we're moving on to doing or making things subject of the formula. So I hope you are listening because this is the gist of it. This is the most important part. So, and also one thing, please don't forget to try it separately and then you come back and see if you're doing it correctly, right? So yeah, it says in each of the following, write X in terms of Y. So what they basically mean here is make X the subject of formula. Make X the subject. Oh my gosh, I can't write. Make X the subject of formula. So in this case, we're given Y is equals to 2x plus 1. So this is how we make something the subject of the formula. So when they say we should make X the subject of the formula, that means we want X to be on one side of the equal sign and then all the other values to be on the other side. So instead of Y is equals to 2x plus 1, they are basically asking us, sorry for that. Oh my gosh, what's going on? They're basically, oh my gosh, what did I do? Give me a second. Okay, yeah, they're basically asking us to put X alone this side and then the rest of the stuff should go in on the other side of the equal sign. So all the Y's, the 1's, the 2's, they should be on the other side of the equal sign. So that is what they want us to do. So when we're making something the subject of the formula, like we're saying, we want to take everything else to the other side of the equal sign. So in order, we want to take, let's start with this 1 because it's simpler to take this 1 to the other side. So in order to take 1, what we do, we subtract 1. We take the opposite of this positive 1. So the opposite of positive 1 is minus 1. So we're going to do minus 1 on this side of the equation, minus 1 on the other side of the equation. And if we do the same thing to both sides of the equation, it doesn't really change it because they are still equal, or both sides are still equal. So imagine that let's say there's a person called Tabo on the other side with 2 apples, and then there's Kathy on the other side with 3, with also 2 apples, let me say. And then I take 1 apple from Tabo, I take 1 apple from Kathy. They still have the same number of apples. So I haven't done anything different, or I haven't changed it because they are still equal. They both have 1 apple. So I've done that in this equation. I've taken 1 from the other side and I've put the 1, and then I'm taking 1 also, sorry, on the other side. So because I'm subtracting 1 that side, I'm subtracting 1 that side, it means it's still equal. It's just like my example here, the apple. I've taken 1 apple, I've taken 1 apple from both sides. They still have the same amount of apples. I hope it makes sense. So because I've taken minus 1, the opposite of positive 1, we are going to remain with 2x on one side, and then we're going to have y minus 1 on the other side. So what we want on one side of the equation, on one side of the equation, remember, we want x to be standalone, where in x is equals to whatever there is. So in this case, we have 2x, but I don't want 2x. I want x alone. So what are we going to do about this x? We are basically going to take the opposite. Remember what 2 times x, 2x is the same as 2 times x is equals to y minus 1. So what am I going to do? Oh, it's even the same as x times 2. You could even say that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the opposite of that times 2. And the opposite of times 2 is divided by 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. Divide by 2. Remember, we're dividing everything by 2. So that divided by 2 will cancel the times 2. And then on one side, we're going to remain with x is equals to y minus 1 all divided by 2. And then you would have made it the subject of formula in this case. So let's try it with another example. And as you can see in that answer that x is on one side and then every other value is on the other side, right? So that's great. We can move on to B, which says y is equals to 4, 3 minus x. So in this case, what can we do? We want to remain with x alone on one side of the equation. So what I advise you can do for this one, you can just expand, or you can basically multiply everything in the brackets by 4. Because remember, when it's like this, it basically means y is equals to 4 times 3 minus x. And if it's like this, that means we're going to say 4 times 3, 4 times minus x. So what is 4 times 3? Because we multiply with all the values that are in there, right? I hope that's making sense. So 4 times 3 is going to be 12. And then 4 times negative x. Never forget the sign, please. 4 times negative x is going to be minus 4x. So we already have this so far. So now we can take the 12 to the other side. And how are we going to take the 12 to the other side? Because this is a positive 12. I'm going to take what? A negative 12. So minus 12 minus 12 to take this positive 12 to the other side. So we're going to see, or we're going to remain with y minus 12. So y minus 12 is equals to remember how this positive 12, this 12 is going to be removed by that minus 12. So 12 minus 12 is how much? Because this is the same as 12 minus 12. Minus 4x. So 12 minus 12 is 0. So we're going to remain with y minus 12 is equals to 0 minus 4x. And 0 minus 4x is going to be minus 4x. So we're going to have minus 4x on the other side. So remember, we only want to remain with x on one side of the equation. So in order to do that, we need to remove what? We need to remove that minus 4. And remember we said this is the same as negative 4 times x. Or it can even be x times negative 4. So in order to remove that times negative 4, we are going to divide by what? Negative 4. Because like the opposite of times is divide. So that's why I'm doing that. And then that negative 4 is going to cancel this negative 4. And then here I forgot to divide also by negative 4. Remember how we divide everything by negative 4. Then we're going to remain with x. Oh my gosh. X is equals to y minus 12. All in brackets, remember. Divided by negative 4. And now we have x remaining alone on one side of the equation. So let's continue to try it with another question. which says y is equals to 1 minus 5x. So this one, I actually want you to like maybe pause the video at this point and try it on your own and see if you actually understand what we're trying to do here. So for this one, what are we going to do? We can easily take 1 to the other side, or yeah, take 1 to the other side, because remember, we want to remain with x on one side of the equation. So in order to take this positive 1 to the other side, we're going to take minus 1, which is the opposite of it. So it's going to be y minus 1 is equals to 1 minus 1 minus 5x. Because I get 1 minus 1 here, then here it's y minus 1. So that's just going to give us 0. So y minus 1 is equals to 1 minus 1 is 0 minus 5x. And 0 minus 5x is minus 5x or negative 5x. So just as we did here in B, we want to take negative 5 to the other side. And remember what we said, this notation is basically the same as x times negative 5. So we are going to take the opposite of times negative 5, which is divided by negative 5. So we're going to divide by negative 5 this side, and then we're going to divide also by negative 5 on the other side, and then we'll have x is equals to y minus 1 divided by negative 5. And then you would have it as so. So that's how easy it is with the subject of the formula. So I hope that you've caught on to like the gist of it. So let me see. Maybe we might not make it onto the last activity, but we can do D. We'll see, because I don't want this video to exceed 30 minutes. And we're at 22 minutes currently. So D says y is equals to 5 times 2x minus 3 divided by 6. So this time it's a bit complicated. So these are like the memes that say the exam will be, I mean, the classwork will be like 1 minus 1 is equals to 0, whilst the test is like calculate the mass of the moon. So in this case, it's a calculate the mass of the moon type of question. So it's a bit more complex as compared to what the others we've been doing, but it's very simple. Nothing has changed. So in order to remove, we are going to start by removing this 6. This divided by 6 is the easiest to remove first. So we're going to remove divided by 6. And how are we going to do that? We are going to take the opposite of divided by 6, which is multiplied by 6. So we're going to multiply by 6 on both sides. And then we're going to have 6y, or 6 times y, is equals to, that times 6 is going to cancel the divided by 6. And then we're going to have 5 2x minus 3 as so. And then what can we do next? I like where this is going. So this we said what is the same as 6y is equals to 5 2x minus 3. So you could actually do two things, but for this case, let me say we now can remove, let's try and remove the 5. So there are actually two methods. I think I'll just do the two methods. So to remove the 5 here, remember what it is the same as 6y is equals to 5 times 2x minus 3. Or it can be the same as 2x minus 3 times 5. It's still the same thing. So in order to remove times 5, we are going to divide by 5. So let's divide by 5, both sides, divide by 5. We are going to remain with 2x minus 3 is equals to 6y divided by 5, because this 5 will cancel that. But then it becomes complex in this case because, okay, you'll see as we go on. So I'll do this first method and then a second method. So we're going to have 2x minus 3 is equals to 6y divided by 5. And then we can take 3 to the other side, negative 3 to the other side, by taking the opposite of negative 3, which is positive 3. So plus 3, and then we have 2x is equals to 6y over 5 plus 3. And then we only want to remain with x on one side of the equation. So remember how we said 2x is just the same as x times 2. So we can just say x times 2 is equals to 6y divided by 5 plus 3. And then in this case, then what we're going to do, we're going to take the opposite of times 2, so which will be divided by 2, and then everything here is also going to be divided by 2. So we're going to end up having x, because this will cancel that, so x is equals to 6y over 5 plus 3, all divided by 2. So alternatively, what you can do at this step, so this is the first method I get. So the second one, at that step here, 6y is equals to 2x minus 3. What you can do, you can still expand and say 5 times 2x. So you can say 5 times 2x, which will be 10x. And then 5 times negative 3 is going to be negative 15. And then you can just take the 15 to the other side, the negative 15 to the other side. So the opposite of minus 15 is plus 15, and then you'll have 10x is equals to 6y plus 15. And then you can just divide by 10 both sides, because remember how we said what this is the same as x times 10, which is equals to 6y plus 15. And then we are going to take the opposite of times 10, which is divided by 10, and then we'll have x is equals to, this divided by 10 cancels the times 10. Then we remain with x is equals to 6y plus 15 divided by 10. So this answer is also acceptable. This answer is acceptable. This answer is also acceptable, because these are basically the same thing. So yeah, I think I might have to end the video here because we're at like 28 minutes of a recording, but we have others here, of which I think I'll do in a later video. But thank you so much for watching, guys. We're at like 100 followers on Facebook. Thank you so much. We're at 127 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much. And at 450 on TikTok. Thank you to everyone who watches my videos. Yeah, keep dropping the suggestions on what to do. Currently, I also have a suggestion to do another video on numbers, or on percentages rather, especially for the BGCSE paper 3 students. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. And thank you so much for watching. I hope it made sense, guys. If it didn't, we can always come back and make another video or a second version of this. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.